Spoilers, he did not sell at either of the markets, and I really hope he doesn't hold it against me or take it personally that I did that to him. So overall, 3 markets in the span of 3 weeks. Would I do it again? Hey guys, welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Morgan and I'm the maker behind LA Crochet, and if you're a returning crochet friend, then hey, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be doing a 2-in-1 market recap. So I did 3 markets in the month of October. In my last video, I did a recap of the first one, and now today we're going to recap the other 2. We'll get into what sold at each market, what didn't, how much I made, and what I learned through this whole process, and if I would ever do 3 markets within the span of 3 weeks again. Before we get into it though, be sure that you like this video, subscribe, and you can check out my Instagram and my Etsy linked in the description. And of course, as always, the patterns for all of the plushies that you'll see in this video will be linked in the description in case you'd like to make any for yourself. But alrighty friends, let's get into it. So as you can see, I am not where I usually film my videos. In case you missed it, we moved out of our apartment this week and we're currently kind of in limbo waiting for our house to be ready. So I kind of had to improvise the placement of the peanut gallery today. As you can see, they're currently rather precariously placed on this upside down Premier yarn box, but they've been shoved inside a bag pretty much this whole week, so I decided to bust them out of plushie jail for this video. Because let's be honest, the video just really wouldn't be the same without the peanut gallery. So things have been super crazy lately. Pretty much all of our stuff is sitting in a garage right now while we're just waiting for the house to be ready, so that's why the video is being uploaded this week as opposed to last week when it should have been. But thank you all so much for your patience. We're going to be moving again later this week, so once we get settled with all of that, I can really get back into the regular swing of things. Hey guys, Future Morgan popping in here because I wanted to talk to you briefly about the sponsor of today's video, Craftsy. Craftsy is an online resource where millions of crafters and makers just like yourselves can find instructional videos in over 20 categories like knitting, embroidering, baking, and yes, of course, crochet. They have a huge variety of crochet classes like making sunflowers, tulips, and daisies, crafting a cactus garden, or making fun items like hats, gloves, and socks. My personal favorite is the Funagurumi class, which includes almost 6 hours of detailed instructions as well as PDF patterns on how to make a corn dog pup, a boba bunny, and a cat burger. So far, you guys, I have made a corn dog pup, and look how adorable he turned out. And if you would like to try Craftsy for yourself, I have some exciting news because the first 1,000 of you to click the link in the description will get a full year premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49 for new members. And with that, let's get back into recapping our 2 markets. So the first market that I did was actually a Scrapple festival. I'm not going to explain what Scrapple is. If you've never heard of it, I'm just gonna let you look that up if you're curious. So the market was indoors, so I didn't have to set up a tent. The booth fee was $75, which is a little on the steeper side for what I normally do. And then the event was from, I believe, 9 to 4. I've really been getting used to doing 5-hour markets, so the fact that this one was 7 hours, I don't know, something about those last 2 hours, it just felt so much longer. But first, I'll take you guys through everything that I brought with me. So this here is the little Halloween section. So we have some pumpkin ghosty hangers, some black cats, pumpkins, and candy corn. By the way, you guys, I know that this video is coming out in November, but I highly recommend this little candy corn pattern for next year. It was so adorable. It's by Mom Stitchetti. I'll link below for you guys, but it was definitely one of the more best sellers that I had in the month of October. Then we have the fruit basket with our oranges and blueberries, and then the kiwi and watermelon keychains are down here. The cheeky turtles are off to the side over here, and I only had like 4 witches hats for this event, but of course I had to display one of them on the cheeky turtles because they just look so cute on them. Then we have some of the regular keychains up here, the popping mushrooms, bees, and strawberry keychains. Moving on to the loaf cat crate, I feel like they are slowly taking over my whole booth because they just sell so well. So at this one, I think I brought Yes, I brought 6 regular size loaf cats and then I brought 10 mini ones. This is definitely the most I've ever brought with me, but they just keep selling out or like nearly selling out. So I'm kind of trying to see where the sweet spot is and how many I should bring. But yeah, so here are all of the adorable loaf cats. As you can see, I made a bigger witch hat for the larger cat up here out of burlap blanket, and it just looks so cute on him. I also experimented with the fun cat safety eyes. So up on the top of the crate there's one with yellow eyes and another one with purple. Then moving on, we have the dinos. Yes, I only have 2. I just didn't have enough time to restock these guys after last week's market, but the purple one is sporting another one of the witch hats. Then we have our 2 turtles back in that crate, and here we have the mushy boys and the octos on the tiered displays. And you guys might have noticed in that clip that the Stegosaurus was also included in this market on the bottom of one of the tiered displays. I do not normally bring this fella to markets. This was a pattern test for Croutons Crochet, and I've actually been keeping him just for the memories because it was a really special pattern test to me. But after selling so much at last week's market, I was kind of desperate for inventory, so I decided to throw him up there to kind of fill out the table a little bit. Spoilers, he did not sell at either of the markets, and I really hope he doesn't hold it against me or take it personally that I did that to him. But anyways, moving on. So down here in front of those tiered displays, we have the bees and the axolotls on the tree rounds. And then I actually made a purple bee because I completely ran out of black yarn while I was restocking them this week. So I just made one in this different color, and I actually think I'm gonna have to start making some more in fun colors because, spoiler alert, someone found him and completely loved him. Then finally on the end here, we have our 2 splitting triceratopses. I still don't know. Is it triceratops? Splitting triceratopses for plural. I think it's just triceratops. I know the Peanut Gallery will for sure correct me on that one. But they're over here looking super adorable. This is my own pattern. It's on my Etsy in case you'd like to make any. And then we have our little chicken coop back here. And then of course the pickle jar. And you can find the free pattern for these pickles on my Instagram. So yeah, looking at the whole table, as you can see, it is probably a little less inventory than what I normally bring to my markets. If you watched my last market recap video, then you know that I sold quite a bit, and I feel like that really impacted the amount of inventory that I was able to bring to this market. So at this market, I had a total of $1,738 worth of inventory with me. Normally, I like to bring about $2,000 worth of inventory, but with only 1 week to kind of recover from last week's market, that was just not happening. Another thing that kind of threw me off for this market was they said that the spaces were going to be 10 by 10, but when I got there, they were actually 8 by 8 spaces, and I had an 8-foot table. So we were super squished in our space, as you might be able to see in the video. I had to push my 6-foot table up a little bit, so a big part of that corner where the 2 tables meet actually wasn't being used, which really wasn't a big deal since I already had less inventory than normal, but it is just a reminder that sometimes things are subject to change, so you might have to think on your feet when you're setting up for a market. So now I'll take you guys through all of the market day footage that I took and some of the more memorable sales from the day. So right after this market started, someone got the green splitting triceratops with the embroidered eyes and one of the bees. Then at about 10:40, we'd already sold a regular size loaf cat along with 3 of the minis, so they were already off to a really great start. Then just a few minutes later, the purple splitting triceratops also sold, so I was super excited because they sold out so quickly. People just loved them. And this is our 11:40 check-in. As you can see, our special purple bee found a home along with a medium chicken and then some more loaf cats. And oh my gosh, you guys, the green sunflower turtle finally found his forever home as well. This was so crazy to me because I'd had this turtle since at least May, because I know that I brought him with me to my first market that I ever did. So he's just been waiting this whole time to find his forever home, and someone finally picked him this week, so I was so happy for him. Way later on in the market, this is how our loaf cats are looking. So 3 of the regular size loaf cats had sold so far, and then 7 of the minis, so these were the only ones that I had left. And the cheeky turtles completely sold out at this market as well. So the week of this market was the same week that I had uploaded that reel on my Instagram and on YouTube, and it featured the cheeky turtles basically, and it got a lot more views than I was expecting. And then actually the person who bought my last cheeky turtle of the day got it because she said that she'd seen a reel about it on her Instagram. And my mother-in-law was with me and she was like, oh my gosh, it was probably yours. And I was like, no, it's probably not mine. Like, I don't know, there's something really weird to me about meeting someone in person who has seen something that I've posted, I guess. I don't know, for some reason, I just feel like social media is so self-contained that it doesn't really translate into the real world. But the person did say, well, actually, yeah, it had these fruits next to it and then these love cats next to it. And you know, the person in the video actually looked a lot like you. But it turns out that she had seen my reel and that just completely blew my mind. But anyway, this is what my booth looked like at the end of the day. This definitely wasn't my best market day I've had, but also we had some really great sales. So it was a super solid day in my opinion. Plus we had a ton of fun and I hadn't done an indoor market in a super long time. So it was really nice not having to worry about the wind and setting up a tent. So I have my little chart here. So let's get into everything that sold at this market and then we'll get into the second market that I did. So first I sold 3 out of the 4 axolotls. I sold all of the colors except the lime green one. Then I sold 2 out of the 5 bees. Of course, one of them was that special purple one. Then I also sold 3 out of the 5 blueberries, 3 out of the 6 regular size loaf cats, and then 7 out of the 10 mini loaf cats. So they definitely remain one of the best sellers. I also sold 1 of the mini chickens and then 1 of the medium chickens. I brought the yellow and the purple dino and you guys, they didn't sell. So hopefully we're not getting into like the pink dino drama territory. Then we sold 1 out of the 10 mushy boys, 1 of the octos, 1 of the oranges, and 2 of the pickles. Like I said, we sold our one and only sunflower turtle, and then we still have a regular purple turtle. So I'll show you guys for the next market. I actually end up making that into a sunflower turtle as well. Then we sold both of the splooting triceratops, so the smaller size one, which is made out of Parfait Chunky, and then the larger purple one, which was made out of Sweet Snuggles Light. And then of course, we sold out of all of the cheeky turtles. The week that I was doing this market, I think I probably made almost 20 cheeky turtles between restocking them for these 2 markets and then also making them from the orders that I got from posting that reel. But I'm gonna do like a week of crochet vlog where I put all of that footage together. So I did film some of that for you guys. And then we sold 4 out of the 10 candy corns and then 4 out of the 5 witches hats. So if I count all of these up, oh wow, okay, that's a super even number. So in total, we sold 40 items at this market. Not bad. Alrighty, now moving on to the last market that I did. So this was actually the first market that I had signed up for out of the 3 that I did in October. And it was kind of a gamble. I didn't really know what to expect, but this is my year for trying a bunch of different markets in my area and learning a lot about what I should look for when choosing a market and things like that. So I decided, what the heck, let's do it. So this is what my display items were looking like before I laid my crochet items out. The booth sizes were 10 by 5, which is the smallest I've ever done. Normally it's pretty much always 10 by 10. So that was really different and caused me to just stare at my display for a long time because I had to rearrange everything, but we made it work. And honestly, it was probably for the best since I only had $1,594 worth of inventory at this market. As you can see, my inventory was just dwindling more and more with each market that I did this month. But so these are all of my display items. I'll link everything for you guys below in case you see something that you like. And here we're just going to do a little editing magic and voila! If only it were that easy. So this is how my booth setup was looking. As you can see, a lot more cramped than it normally is, but I actually kind of like it, to be honest. So I used 1 less tiered display than normal and 1 less crate. But here are the axolotls. We only have 3 this time because you guessed it, I didn't have enough time to restock them fully. Then we of course have the chicken coop, here's the bees, and for some reason I totally miscounted. I usually bring 5, but this time I brought 6. I think I thought I sold 1 more than I actually did last week. And then we have the 2 tiered displays instead of 3, and they have all of our mushy boys and the octos on them. The lovely fruit basket is down here. I only had 2 blueberries to start, so I brought some navy yarn so I could make some more of them during the market. Over here we have all of our loaf cats. I restocked these, so I had 5 regular size cats to start and then about 9 of the minis. On top of this crate was really the only spot where the pickle jar made sense, so that's up there as well with them. Then we have our keychains. The cheeky turtles are down here, and of course this one is sporting the witch's hat. I only brought 2 witch hats with me to this market because it was my last market in the month of October and I didn't want to make a bunch of Halloween inventory and then have to hold on to it for the rest of the year. Then lastly, we have kind of the one-off items up here, the jumbo mushy boy, the Stegosaurus, poor guy, I'm sorry. And then I turned the regular purple turtle into a sunflower turtle this week as well. Then down here we have the Halloween section, so I went ahead and made this adorable mummy cat. How cute is he? I'll link the pattern below for you guys for next year, but this pattern was so much fun to make and he's just completely adorable. Then of course we have the black cat, some of the pumpkins, and then some of the pumpkin ghosty hangers. And what's left of our candy corns are over here at the end of the table. So yeah, as you can see, the table felt a little more crowded to me, but I also kind of liked how full it was. So I don't know, I was just trying to get used to only having 1 table. But so this market was from 8:30 to 3, so kind of an early one, and the booth fee was $80, which is probably the most that I've ever paid for a booth, but all of the money was going towards a really good cause, so it was okay. And then there were over 100 vendors at this event. And this is probably the biggest event that I'd ever done with over 100 vendors. So there were so many people there, and I did get the chance to walk around at one point, and I think there were about like 8 or 9 other crochet booths there as well, which is definitely the most amount that I've ever seen at an event that I've done. But it makes sense because it was a fundraiser and it was so huge, so it was just really cool seeing that many people there. And you guys, one of the other crochet booths there was by my new friend Kelsey, so I will link her Instagram below for you guys so that you can give her a follow. But she had the most adorable booth. I asked her if I could show you guys some of her work, so here it is. I absolutely loved the sunflower turtles. The multicolored pumpkins were so cute, and oh my gosh, look at how adorable the Christmas trees and the snowmen are. So while I was setting up my booth, Kelsey came over and said hi because she actually recognized me from the YouTube videos, and I just thought that was so crazy. So she's the first person to ever, I guess, recognize me in person from like my long form YouTube videos, and she was just so sweet and incredibly kind, and her crochet is such good quality, so it's always nice to meet another crocheter. But let's be honest, she probably came over because she recognized the iconic peanut gallery. But meeting someone in person who actually watches my videos and like crochets along with me was just so crazy, and it made me realize like, oh my goodness, people actually do watch my videos. So Kelsey, if you're watching, it was so nice to meet you, and everyone go give her a follow. But anyways, now I'm gonna show you guys some of the footage that I took during the market. So this market was actually pretty slow for me. There were a lot of people, I would say, but just not a ton of sales for me personally. So I was able to crochet this mini loaf cat, so here he is with the fam. Then I also made this full-size loaf cat, so I added him to the table as well. At this point in the market, we're about 2 hours in, and I sold some oranges and some candy corn, so this is what they're looking like. And then I went ahead and crocheted a blueberry since I only brought 2 of them with me. And a little while later, it had already sold, so I went ahead and made another. And by about 11:30 or so, all of the candy corn had completely sold out. A little after, at around 12:30, this is what the chicken coop was looking like. So super sparse, and I'll definitely have to make some more of them for my next next market. We also had several mini loaf cats sell and a couple of cheeky turtles. And this is what the booth was looking like at the end of the market. So as you guys can see, not a ton of sales, and I'll kind of get into why I think that is during the what I learned portion of this video, but we still had some fun sales today. And honestly, every market where I can make back my booth fee, I'm happy, especially since this one was for a good cause. And we always have to remember with markets, not all of them can be a massive success. That's just the reality of them. So overall, it was a great day. So now let's get into everything that sold at this market. I have the list here. So we did end up selling one of the axolotls, one of the blueberries sold, and then one of the regular size loaf cats also sold. We also sold 4 out of the 9 mini loaf cats. So I think the fact that I sold so many of them just goes to show how much of a bestseller the mini loaf cats really are. Then I sold 1 medium chicken and 1 large chicken. We also sold an octo, and we sold 5 out of the 7 oranges, so people were really digging those at this market. Oh my gosh, and then I forgot to show you guys in the market day footage, that purple turtle that I'd had for forever that I turned into a sunflower turtle sold at this market as well. So I've really been waiting for all of my turtle plushies to sell because I really want to make some bigger ones in thicker yarn. So now that they're all completely gone, I can do that. Then we sold 2 of our cheeky turtles, 1 of the strawberry keychains, and then 2 of the watermelon keychains. We also sold all 4 of the candy corns, so they completely sold out after this market, which I was super happy about since I didn't have any more markets after this. We sold 2 of those ghosty and pumpkin hangers, and then the 3rd one actually sold later on my Etsy. Okay, so the mummy cat did not sell at the market, but I made this really silly reel featuring the mummy cat, and he was looking for his forever home because at the time it was like October 22nd, 23rd, something like that. And the mummy cat still hadn't found his home. So someone saw that reel and adopted him. So you guys, it was a Halloween miracle. He made it home in time for Halloween. And then we did sell 2 out of the 2 witches hats. So at this market, we ended up selling a total of 29 items. Alrighty, so now that we've covered everything that sold in these last 2 weeks at these 2 markets, let's now get into everything that didn't sell. Alrighty, so this is everything that I have left that did not sell at these 3 markets this month. If you hear running water in the background of this part of the video, that's because there's a little fountain right out there. Very zen. So let's go through these real quick. We only have 4 of the mini loaf cats left, and then we still have 3 of these all black loaf cats. I made these for Halloween because I figured if they didn't sell, I would still be able to put them out on my booth year round since they're not like specifically a Halloween item. They just work really well for that time of year. And then of course we have our peanut gallery over here, these 5 loaf cats. The Stegosaurus that I kind of sacrificed for the sake of inventory also didn't sell, but you guys, people thought that he was so funny. Whenever people would point them out and say, oh my gosh, it's a Stegosaurus, I would say, actually he's a Stegosaurus, and it would always make them smile. It was so cute. Then we have our pickle jar here. We still have 4 pickles in there. Then we have all of these mushy boys still available, along with the jumbo mushy boy over here. This is what our chicken coop is looking like. We only have 1 jumbo left, 1 medium, and then 3 of the minis. So I'm gonna try my best to restock some of those before this weekend, along with the axolotls. So I only have 2 of them left, the one in the lime green and then the one in this purple color. In terms of bees, we are good because like I said, I kind of over prepped them on accident last time, and actually none of them sold surprisingly at my last market, so we are all good on those. These are all of the fruits that I have left, so only these 2 oranges and then 3 of the blueberries, so I'm gonna try my best to make some more of those. We just have these 2 pumpkins left. Since pumpkins really are like an October, November item, I'm still gonna bring them for my market that I have this weekend. And then we have all of these octos, so I I did sell one of the pink ones and one of the orange ones. Then we have our two dinos over here. All that we have left is the yellow and the purple dino. They did not sell at all at these past two markets, so hashtag justice for them. And then in this bag here, we have all of our keychains that haven't sold. So yeah, you guys, this is it. This is definitely the least amount of inventory that I've ever had, so I'm really gonna try my best this week to just crank out a bunch of stuff. I think the priorities are probably making some more mini loaf cats, making some more of the fruits, especially the oranges, because they've been doing really well. Definitely some of the axolotls and definitely some of the cheeky turtles, since they have completely sold out between my markets and then also my online sales. Something else that I really want to do for my market this weekend is make some Santa hats and kind of treat them as a little add-on like I did for the witches hats this time. I also want to try to do some seasonal like Christmas holiday items. I just don't know how many I'll be able to get done. So we'll really try our best this week. And oh my gosh, you guys, literally as I was just filming this part of the video, someone just placed an order on my Etsy for this all black loaf cat with the blue cat eyes and then the light gray loaf cat. So both of those guys are going to have to go home tomorrow. I do have some custom orders that I need to mail out tomorrow, so those will just be included in that. So yeah, even less inventory for this weekend than what we initially thought. So I really have my work cut out for me. So I just briefly wanted to chat with you guys about everything that I learned from this whole experience of doing 3 markets in the span of 3 weeks. So I didn't initially plan on doing that many markets in such a short period of time. It just so happened that I signed up for the first one and then another one popped up that I was like, ooh, that looks like it'd be super fun. I really want to do that. And that was for the week before the one that I'd already signed up for. And then the event coordinator of a market that I'd already done before that was super successful reached out to me and asked if I wanted to do their fall handmade market, which was the recap that I did last week. And of course I really wanted to do that one because I knew that I did super well at the last market. So as you can see, it was just a slippery slope. One thing led to another and I was doing 3 markets in the span of 3 weeks. But I figured it would be an interesting challenge and I would at least learn a lot from it that I could use for choosing future markets and then that I could share with you guys. And for those of you who decide to challenge yourself or be a little crazy like me, these are some of the things that I think really would have helped the whole process. The first thing is to have more inventory than normal going into the first market. So just kind of stockpiling your inventory. If you normally make like 5 of one thing, maybe consider making 10 of them, but only putting out the normal amount of stuff that you make. And then if you're one of those people who really only like to make 1 of each item or maybe 2 of each item, just selecting some of those items to keep off of your table. I don't usually feel super comfortable with doing that because in my eyes, you just never know who's gonna walk through the market and who's going to kind of fall in love with one of your items. I really do believe that like each item has a specific person that it's meant for, especially those kind of more unique one-off items. So I don't like to keep some of them off of the table because you just never know if someone would have loved it at that market. But of course, if you have multiples of one item, then those are totally fine to go underneath the table and then you can just kind of like bring them out as you need. It really depends on the foot traffic at that market, how much you're selling, how much time in that week span that you have to recuperate before you do the next market. I really wish I would have done a better job of this. I think it would have just made the whole market prep process in those weeks a lot less hectic. The other thing that I learned is if you have an online shop that's currently running listings simultaneously to you doing these markets, consider pausing the listings for items that take you a lot longer to make. So funny story, the purple turtle that I had sold that I ended up putting the sunflower petals on the same day, and mind you, I'd had this turtle for months, literally since May. It also came with me to my first market. Someone bought it the exact same day on my Etsy as I did that market. Like literally, what are the odds of that? But honestly, that's not the first time that that's happened. But it was my last market, so I just came home and whipped up another one and sent it out to them. I was so happy to do it. But I just imagine if that would have happened during one of my earlier markets. The week of market prepping is already super hectic. So if you have to then take time refilling orders for things that sold twice, especially for larger items, then that can just add to that stress. And finally, my last little bit of advice for doing this many markets in a row is probably to just give yourself a break once it's all said and done, because you will need it. I did not do this because right after that market finished, I then had to move and pack everything up. And then for some reason, I thought it would be a great idea to do another market on November 9th. So you guys, I don't know. So overall, 3 markets in the span of 3 weeks, would I do it again? My answer is tentatively yes, but I would make sure that I would do a much better job of kind of stockpiling my inventory going into that season of markets. And then I would probably be a little bit more selective on the events that I was doing if I were to do that again. Of course, the month of October is super popular for markets because everyone loves a fall market. So there were a bunch of them that I wanted to try this month. But anyways, so let's chat a little bit about what I learned at this first market in particular. So I mentioned for this market, we were inside, and what I didn't know when I first signed up for it was that this is primarily an outdoor festival. So I was hearing a bunch of people inside saying that a lot of people were just staying outside because it was a super nice day and there were a lot more vendors outside. So if I do decide to do this event again next year, I'm thinking that I might try out an outside space instead. The only problem is I also heard that vendors outside were unable to use their square readers. The area that we were at, it really didn't have great service. So the only reason that us inside were able to use our square readers was because they gave us the Wi-Fi for the building we were in. But a lot of people couldn't accept card sales outside, I guess. So yeah, if you're having technical problems and you can't accept card payments, which is what a lot of people pay with, then I almost wonder if that cancels out the lower sales from being inside. So I'll really have to think about it and kind of weigh the pro cons for if I do it next year, if I want to be inside or outside. But if any of you guys have experienced that before, or if you have any tips for using your square reader when it's not connecting to any internet, then let me know. And then for the second market, so like I said, this is probably the largest market that I've ever done. And I learned that just because it's a larger market does not necessarily mean a large amount of sales. I mentioned before that there were over 100 vendors, and while that really helped to draw a bunch of people to the event, I actually think that it decreased the amount of sales that I personally made. At one point, I walked through the market and it was actually super overwhelming with the amount of people and things that were there. And I just imagine as a shopper going to a market, a lot of people like to look around and find the thing that is their favorite and then go back and purchase it. But when you have that many vendors, it is just so overwhelming. And of course, if there's that many different options, then odds are they're probably going to pick another person to purchase something from, or at least that was just my experience at this particular event. My booth was also in the main aisle, and there were a ton of people walking in that area. And because the spaces were so small, there was no area for someone to kind of come into my booth area to take their time and look. So because the area in front of my booth was super hectic, it seemed like people felt super rushed to kind of move away from my booth, and they didn't really spend that much time looking at all of the items, or at least not as much time as they normally do when I'm outside in a 10 by 10 space with like my own booth area, if that makes sense. So, you know, the vibes were just kind of off at this market, and that's totally okay. I think from this experience, I learned that kind of medium-sized markets are more my sweet spot. Alrighty, and now the moment you've been waiting for, how much I made at these markets. So at the first market, I made a total of $528 in sales, and then at the second market, I made $304 in sales. So when combining these two, that is a total of $832 in sales. And I mentioned before the one booth fee was $80, the other one was $75, so we have to subtract that. And then I have my spreadsheet right over here so that I can read it off for you guys. So we also had $12 in tolls going to one of the markets, $7.70 in square fees. We had another $6 in tolls going to the second market, and then $3 in square fees. And for the purposes of doing these videos, I usually don't factor in yarn costs just because it would take a lot of math for me to take the time to do that. But I do keep like a detailed spreadsheet here for my own purposes. So at the very end of the year, I can look at everything as a whole, how much I made, how much I spent, things like that. But for the purposes of this video, when we add together all of the sales and then we subtract the booth fee, the tolls, and the square fee, we come out to a total of $648.30. So yeah, all in all, super solid double feature to end out this month. Plus, I had so much fun, met a lot of great people, and of course, I learned a lot of stuff along the way. Alrighty, you guys, that wraps it up for this video. Thank you all so much for watching this little 2-in-1 market recap video. I know it was posted a little bit later than expected, so thank you all so much for your patience. As I said earlier, I was a goob and I signed up for another market just a week away. Okay, but hear me out. It sounds like it's gonna be a lot of fun, and plus it's in November, so I can do some like holiday themed stuff. So yeah, the next market is this Saturday, November 9th. Not sure why I did this to myself with moving and everything, but we're gonna get through it and it's gonna be great. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. And as always, if you were crocheting while you were watching this video, let all of us know what you were making in the comments. And with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!